So hi everybody, thank you so much for attending. We're going to try to keep the introductions short and get right to it. My name is Emmy Hewitt. I'm the lead of e-learning technologies at eConcordia, and I was the lead learning experience designer, or LXD as we call them, for the course that we're going to be presenting today as kind of a showcase. So I've been with eConcordia for 6.5 years now, and what's kind of funny is that Ali, my colleague, when basically when he was hired here as an intern for the completion of his master's degree in educational technology, I was one of his mentors. So this presentation today isn't about our personal experience as an intern and a mentor. We actually created characters for a course that we're going to showcase that were an intern and a mentor. But it's just kind of interesting that those roles were also mirrored in our work experience as well.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. My name's Ali. I've been working in the field of education for the past like 15 years or so. But when I started my work at eConcordia as an LXD or Learning Experience Designer, I was an intern. So everything was kind of new. I needed someone to tell me how things work in the new workplace and how to improve. So as mentioned, Emmy was one of my mentors, helping me navigate, learn, grow, and use my creativity. Ironically, as she said, this is reflected in the very same course which I was a part of as the supporting learning experience designer. Our project was about revamping a course. It's a business course called COM 305. And business management at Concordia University. We say revamp because it's a kind of course that already existed, but it was made more than 5 years ago. So it was due for an update.
All right, so here's a very quick agenda on what we're going to be talking about today. So first we're going to thank the prof who worked with us. Then Ali's going to ask the audience why characters. Then he's going to discuss a little bit how the idea originated. We're going to talk a little bit about the characters that came through, Ali the intern and Elena the mentor. I'm going to discuss very practical ways to do this. So using character sheets and templates, and I'll show what we actually did for the course, and then hopefully spend some time showing the demos that we did, and then a quick lessons learned, and if people have questions. So basically, one of the ways that we decided to update this course was, like we mentioned, to add characters and to enrich the course experience. Although Ali and I did develop the course with the other team members of eConcordia. It was actually the professor's idea to include the characters in the course. Ali had some other ideas. He'll talk about that later, but it was the prof who wanted to do that. So it was really fun that he brought that to the course. So we just wanted to take a second to thank him, Professor Matthias de Cathen. He's the chair of the finance department at JMSB, and he developed it with us. So we just wanted to thank him for his amazing idea.
Before moving on to talking about characters, I would like to ask everyone this question. Why do you think it is a good idea to use characters in e-learning and education? So you could raise your hands or just open your mics and talk, or send answer in the chat. I pause for like 30 seconds so you can see the question. So why do you think we use characters in e-learning and education? To tell stories, nice.
I can't see, so if you could read the answers.
Yeah, sure. It makes the scenario. Oh, there are a lot of them. Oh, good. To humanize the experience, exactly. To humanize the experience and make material more relatable, exactly. Pure fun in learning. I don't know why though. Okay. To make the information personal, to guide the training in a more realistic way, exactly. Enhances learning motivation, to feel a sense of connection to the character, to make the experience more engaging. Great. To tell
Oh,
stories. Yeah. Yeah, I
wow.
guess You nearly mentioned whatever I wanted to mention. So yeah, to create empathy. Yeah, that are very good ideas. Thank you so much for sharing your ideas. As mentioned, characters can be used to reach these goals in an online course. So as you see, engagement, emotional connection, storytelling, role modeling, visual appeal, humanization, diversity and inclusion, maybe something that wasn't mentioned, personalization and instructional guidance. So when it comes to this Come 305 course, for instance, we used characters mainly to provide guidance and support learners throughout the instructional process in terms of mentorship and at the same time scaffolding. The next point is the fact that uh, how did the idea of having characters originate? So that's a very small anecdote I want to share with you. When I remember when I joined a team of production it was in the middle of the production. I was given two lessons, lesson 3 and lesson 5, for the course for content analysis. So it was not they were not the beginning lessons, and the content seemed so serious to me. Uh, it did not look easy because I have no background in finance or business or anything related to that. I remember one of those courses was about calculating cost of a product or process or something like that. So uh, to make the content more accessible, I came up with a scenario and the idea of a wedding ceremony. So instead of calculating the cost of a difficult process, I suggested a marriage ceremony where a person tries to calculate the costs of their wedding ceremony before getting a quote or before referring to some place to ask for a price. So we shared the idea with the prof and he liked it. But he suggested we could think of a character in a scenario rather than one specific situation. So in the next week, I came up with an idea of an intern, an entry-level account manager at the company. Uh, in collaboration with the the professor, we outlined the character's journey from an intern to a knowledgeable employee, either being hired or established their own business. So throughout the lesson, the intern gets to be introduced to concepts, ask questions, and at the same time help students learn. In fact, the idea was to consider them as a student of the course after they graduate. So it's a kind of illustrating the practicality of the course for students and to see how the course could be applied in real life, let's say, uh, context. Then the prof proposed an additional character, a mentor, someone who would present some of the lecture materials, guide the intern by introducing and explaining the concepts and aiding in problems as finding solutions and addressing any confusions that the mentor had. So at this stage, we wanted real life characters. So what did we need? We needed background stories. We chose names. We chose Ali for the intern and Elena for the mentor, or Miss Com 305. Initially, the professor suggested Miss Com 305. Ali's name came from myself, even though the character is not entirely based on me. And Elena is actually the name of the professor's daughter. So this is how we find the names. But creating personality requires background and background story. We wanted depth, diversity, memorability. We needed to enhance the overall narration and foster a stronger connection between the learner and characters. Based on the character's appearance and having diversity in mind and gender inclusivity, of course, in mind, we created some background stories. For example, as you can see here, uh, we created some educational and career background for Ali and Elena. We also added some details to introduce the characters' hobbies, favorite pastimes, and even languages they could speak. We wanted a more inclusive portrayal showing various identities and experiences. We knew that providing background stories for characters could enrich storytelling experiences by adding complexity, motivation, and relatability. For example, some ideas that we have here for Ali and Elena. You can see Ali is a JMSB graduate in marketing with a minor in accountancy, and Elena is a proud alumnus of Concordia and JMSB with a BCom in accountancy and John Molson MBA.
All right. So our characters had background stories. They had, degrees. They had a resume of sorts. But so we had their concept in mind, right? But we wanted something concrete to kind of attach our minds to, and so we needed to give them a look and feel. So now we're going to get into how we created the way that they look to keep it as simple and easy and kind of repetitive as possible, so that people can do this that are not like necessarily just professional graphic designers. So to do this, we wanted their look and feel to fit their personality, and also we needed it to fit with the branding of the course. So we went on Shutterstock and we found what we call character sheets, right? So these are character sheets, and so it's a character, and there's all kinds of different ones, and they come in different positions with different facial expressions, and sometimes they have different clothing, different outfits, different accessories. You can even find, like, Shutterstock is a paid service, but if ever you want to use a free service, there's Pexels or Pixabay. So there's a lot of different free options. And so you find a sheet like this, and then, we have a lot of different modules, right? We have like 12 different modules. So we're going to be doing dozens of storyboards, lots of different scenarios. It's important that we're able to build and edit our characters really easily. And so we don't want to force the team, like I said, to use graphic editing programs like Adobe Illustrator and things like that, because not everybody's comfortable with programs like that. So we're lucky that we are designers and we work with designers. But if ever you're less savvy, there still are ways to do it. I'll show the way that we did it here. What we did was we created a template with a bunch of these different characters in different poses with different thought bubbles and speech bubbles and accessories, and we set it all up actually in a PowerPoint. So these slides here, they're like PowerPoint slides. I'll show how we did it after. Then this kind of made it really easy for everybody that wanted to add or edit the characters. We numbered them so that you could have a quick reference for which slide and stuff that you're working on. And then, so on screen are some examples, but I also want to just take a moment to actually show you how to do this. So 1 second, right here. So this is the actual template. Just somebody confirm that you're seeing the template. Yes,
Yes.
perfect. So it's quite long, right? Because we used it for a 12 lesson course, and I obviously won't go through all of this, but you can see that this character has that you can deconstruct has been added in multiple different ways with different accessories and speech bubbles, different facial expressions. Um, One of the things that we really enjoyed was making them have conversations with each other. And yeah, we did that quite a few times to make them go back and forth. And sometimes you added accessories like a little board so that they can explain different concepts. And the way that you do this, once it's all been imported from Shutterstock or Pixabay, you create your text boxes so that they're editable, right? So you do something like, "Hi, my name is Miss 5," and then just align that. And then, so if you want to save this as a transparent PNG, so a transparent image that you're able to use after in all of your creative modules that you're designing, you just select everything and you save as a picture. And so you save that and you can save it on your computer. And then you can insert it again. And then it's all stuck together. And then you keep it editable. So if you want to make changes, you can, but it's now a picture that you can use in your online learning. Okay, so I'm going to go back to the presentation. This. Perfect. So now that I've showed the template, we're going to move on a little bit to show more demos. So we have some lecture content, we have animated video, video with the prof, we have a small negotiation with the character. So I'm going to show my screen again, this, and I'm going to leave it to Ali.
Uh, yep, as you see, we created the course in Rise 360. And we used the Elena and Ali in for different purposes. For example, here Elena is introducing herself, or sometimes if you go down, she is coming up with the definition or uh, clarifying something. As you see, different poses, different forms of showing the material. Here, she's clarifying something or explaining a concept. As Emmy said, sometimes they come up with a discussion. It's a kind of back and forth between the two. Here, I think this is the first time they see each other. They're giving tips to one another. Of course, I mean, Elena is giving tips to Ali, or sometimes introducing a concept. Or here introducing a new concept, a formula, a chart. So as you see, these are very, very simple ideas that you can come up with in any course. Or for example, there's a question. As I said, Ali is a kind of student of the course at the beginning. So it can be anything that the students might have in mind as a question. So here he asks about organizational charts, and then Elena answers, or there is a lecture component answering the question. Or here, something like this happens here where there is a question and answer, or sometimes there is something, but Ali is not convinced about an answer. He asks for more clarification or something like that. And even we use them in very simple videos. I think it would be nice, Emmy, if you showed the video to
Ali,
our
are the
audience.
assumptions clear for you? Do you have any questions?
Let's have a second look. The first and second assumptions are clear. That is chapter 2, right?
Can you go full screen, please?
But the third, changes in activity are the only factors that affect costs. So this means that the quantity produced affect costs. That is obvious. But what other factor can affect costs?
Efficiency gains can also affect costs. For example, we can become more efficient in bottling our products. This would reduce the cost.
I see, but in CVP, we are ignoring this.
Ignoring is a strong word. We are working with a constant level of efficiency. You know what my favorite assumption is? Assumption 4. Inventory levels remain constant. This means we do not need to worry about work in process inventory and finished goods inventory in a CVP analysis. Instead, everything we produce is also sold in the same period.
That's good news.
Ali, are the assumptions clear for you?
All right.
Or we had them, yes, in introductory videos. Or here, that's a nice point here. Ali, in the middle of the term or towards the end of the course, becomes somehow a master himself. He learns his lesson, so he starts giving some tips to students. Or so here, for example, he's talking about advantages of something, or advantages and disadvantages of something. In the next section, they're like flipping cards where he shows his ideas of something. So we wanted to show this idea that he somehow evolves. He learns his lesson and he asks better questions. He can explain easier concepts to students. So we want his like growth to be seen in the course as well. And also we have a nice video here. So Emmy, I think you can talk about that.
Yeah, exactly. So here we have a little video where it was important for us, for the prof, like for the characters to be truly melded into the course. We wanted the prof to talk to them. So having them fully animated would have been a little bit outside of the budget scope. So we did what we could, and so this is the animation.
Hi again. I would like to introduce you to Ali.
I am Ali, and I majored in marketing and minored in accountancy from JMSB. I was in your shoes not too long ago.
I was about to say, you graduated from JMSB. What have you been doing since graduation?
I just started the development program for new graduates at Consume Good Co. It's an 18-month program in which I have 4 job rotations to experience different areas of the company. I did not want to commit to one position from the start. I want to experience different things to make sure to find an area that really interests me. At the end of this program, I will be working in one of those 4 areas.
That is very exciting, Ali. So what is your first job rotation?
I will be working as a cost accountant for the beverages division of Consume Good Co. I will be calculating the costs for the beer product line called JMS Brew.
Very tasty. Tell us more about your employer, Consume Good Co.
Consume Good Co. is a Montreal-based multinational company that produces fast-moving consumer goods. We produce and sell almost everything in this industry sector: food and beverages, household goods, personal care products, and much more.
Indeed, I'm sure I can find many of your products in my home, from shampoo to Q-tips, from iced tea to maple butter cookies. Impressive that you work for this global champion. Dear students, just to avoid any misunderstanding, Consume Good Co. produces these goods and then sells them to wholesalers, retailers, and pharmacies. When we go to our favorite grocery store, we see their products under many different brands in the shelves.
I am a marketing guy, and I love the branding strategies of Consume Good Co.
Wonderful. Now, I would like to introduce you to Elena, Vice President Accounting and Finance at Consume Good Co. Elena, a very warm welcome.
Thanks, Mateus. Hi, everyone. I'm Elena, but you can call me Ms. Com 305.
Perfect. Tell me, Ms. Com35, are you mentoring Ali?
That's right. I help Ali, our new hire, to navigate through our big multinational company. It's easy to get lost in such a big company. I'll also be there for him when he needs help or support to accomplish his tasks.
That's so nice of you. Ms. Com35, I see that you also went to Concordia.
Absolutely. I am a proud alumnus of Concordia and JMSB.
Tell us more about your educational background.
You're muted, Emmy.
Oops, sorry. That's the official technical difficulty of the past 4 years. But I'll stop the video here so that because I'm sure you get the idea. But basically, you don't be scared to involve your real people and your characters together to create an even more kind of full experience. So the last demo that we'll show you, I won't give you all the context for the actual negotiation because it's like related to the course content. But basically what it was is that you had to offer a price to Ali for how many tons of something that he's going to buy, and you go through a negotiation with him. So first you have to type your offer in digit and then select submit. So I'll use 600 just to keep it simple, and I'll submit. So here he is. And so he says, thanks for proposing this price per ton. It is too high. So his counter offer is 450 per ton. So let's see what happens next. So you have received the counter offer from Ali. What action do you take? So you can accept the offer, you can reject the internal transfer and stop the negotiation, or you can make a counter offer. So let's try that. And let's go to 400. Oh, there you go. So Ali was happy about our counter offer. So he's thanking us and accepting it. So using characters is also another way where you can introduce them into the scenarios, into the narratives of the course in really, really simple ways like this. Good. Perfect. Oop, I went backwards. Okay, so we've come to the lessons learned.
Yes, exactly. There were, of course, lots of lessons we learned integrating characters into our lessons. But probably the first lesson we learned was gaining the professor's trust. We suggested some storytelling ideas, and the prof tweaked it a bit, and Ali and Elena were born. I guess following his path and testing ideas with Ali and Elena, we could win the trust of our professor. So we felt more at ease with implementing characters in various parts of the lesson where we thought that characters could help with the students' learning experience. So the lesson learned would be when we followed the path the the professor was showing, we could we could sort of speed up the process regardless of the innovations we were making. Linking to the first one, the second lesson learned was about the endless possibilities characters can offer to help in designing e-learning. We initially had thought about the role and what and where or when they appear in the course, mainly Ali for asking questions and Elena for answering the questions or clarifications. But we ended up having Ali and Elena doing many other things for us. They had dialogues, they appeared in videos, they started discussions, they discussed ideas with each other and even with the professor. So they sort of transformed the lesson to their own realm. And I think we created them, but they sort of surprised us.
It's true, they really did. So obviously, one of the lessons learned that we had, you know, it's often when you're creating e-learning, you have a budget, you have a scope, and you have to stay within it, right? So we know that maybe if we would have had more time, infinite time, we would have really animated the characters, animated their mouths and all of that. But for, the learning experience, I don't know if it's that important every time. So we didn't really go into all that, but sometimes we're stuck with having to make choices and the animation, like the deeper animations get cut. However, we did use character sheets, like I said, and templates to make things faster. So it is a kind of good way to palliate. Then another lessons learned is, well, we are going to do it again. So we believe in practice makes perfect. So we're working on a gamified course for an astronomy project, and we have a cute robot character that adds like a friendly face. She's going to be talking and chit-chatting with the prof a lot, and hopefully we do an even better job, and yeah, really put continue using these kinds of methods so that we get better at them. And then lastly, well, it's not really a lesson learned, but a way to learn lessons. So we want to collect feedback from our students. So they're the purpose of all this. So we sent out student surveys about their learning experiences, and we're eager to know if the students like these kinds of additions and respond well to them.